Okay, so these are the things to keep in mind as we're graphing these. Now, today's inequality, let's just write it down. It's in standard form. So this is what we want to graph. But here's the catch. We can't use, it's not easily graphed in standard form, right? What do we need to do to be able to graph it more easily? Yes, I know. Blank, blank, blank form. I'll start it off. Slope, intercept form. So basically, we want this to become something like this. Obviously not with an equal sign, but that idea. So we have to solve for y. So we're not too far off, right? First thing we can do is move this x over to the other side. Two ways to do that. If I just picture moving it, what happens to x from one side of the inequality to the other? Yeah, since we would normally say minus x, it switches signs. Okay, well, let's do that. I'm going to rewrite this as 3y less than negative x minus 15. That's our first step. Get y, or get x to the other side. Now I have a coefficient for y that I want to remove, the 3. I don't want 3y, I just want y. I want to just remove that 3 by doing what? Dividing. Let's divide by 3. The catch is we have to divide every single term by 3, as we've done bunches of times. Since I'm dividing by positive 3, I don't need to switch that inequality either. So over here, what do I get? I got negative x over 3. Remembering that's a negative 1. That becomes negative 1/3 x. Negative 15 divided by 3 is negative 5. Okay. I have everything I need there now to graph it. It's in slope-intercept form. So let's do it. Our first point is going to be at negative 5. And then we want to go down 1 across 3. So there's my line. However, we have we don't have an equal to there. So let's change the line to a dotted line. What else do we need? We need to shade one side or the other. So let's test out. Pick a point. Guess what point I'm going to pick? I'm going to pick 0, 0. And then I'm going to plug it in. 0 less than negative 1/3 times 0 minus 5. Okay. That goes away. I get 0 less than negative 5. Is 0 less than negative 5? No. It's actually greater. So that means all of the side where 0's at, not part of the solution. We want the other side. So we don't want that. We want this. So here's our answer. Okay, let's go with that. All right. So that's mainly what we're going to do, except since we are doing a little bit of algebra, sometimes dividing by negatives gets messy. So we got to look out for stuff. Okay, so here we go. And I'm going to start. Well, we'll get to that. Let's go ahead and write this one and solve it. Negative 5x plus 6y is greater than or equal to negative 48. Okay. Let's skip negative 5x over to the other side. If you want, you can add 5x to both sides. Otherwise, we can recognize just it's going to become positive. So 6y greater than or equal to 5x minus 48. Okay. What should I do now? I want to get y by itself. Let's divide out the 6. Do I need to circle and flip the sign? Yeah. Leave it as is. That's good. So y is greater than or equal to 5/6 x minus 8. Okay. Let's graph this one. So we want to put a point at -8, go up 5, and across 6. I just want to make sure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over 6. And do we want a solid line? Yeah, it's got the equal to part. You definitely want a solid line. Now let's test out a point. Let's test out 0, 0. Okay. So 0 is greater than or equal to 5/6 times 0 minus 8. Of course, this goes away. You end up with 0 is greater than or equal to -8. And we ask ourselves, is that a true statement? Is 0 greater than -8? It is. So everything on that same side as 0 would be shaded. Now, before you move on, our final answer, right, ended up with that, right? Now look at the shading. Look at the line. Look at where your line is. And look at the shading. How would you describe the shading? So imagine you're a little ant climbing up this line. And the shading, would you say the shading is above you or below you? Above. And what kind of inequality did we have? Greater than. Do you think there's a, yes?
The trick is that greater than is shade up and then less than is shade down.
That's the trick. That's the trick. But you got to recognize what up is and what down is sometimes. It gets a little, so we'll do the rest of them that way instead of testing to get you comfortable with that. But I just want to add that to our little list of things to look out for. So let's add that over here. Okay, guys, just add it to the side. If you have a less than or a less than or equal to, we're going to say shade below. Oh, or like Catherine said, shade down, if you want to say it that way. That's a good way of putting it too. And if we have a greater than or equal to, we're going to shade above or shade up. Okay, so let's just add that. And that should eliminate having to worry about. Okay, let's try this out. We haven't submitted it. Okay. So let's continue. Let's do this one. We got x minus y less than 4. Let's move this x over. So this becomes negative y less than negative x plus 4. Remember the 4 stays positive, so you got to put a plus 4 there. What do I have to do now? I have negative y, though. I want to eliminate that, just that negative. What gets rid of this negative? Remembering that. Divide out -1, yeah. Okay, so, don't forget, though. I divided by -1. And so that would be 1x minus 4. Okay? So here's our equation. Y is greater than x minus 4. So we want to go to -4, and then we go up 1 over 1. Here's our line. Well, it's a greater than, so it should be dotted. Let's change it. And do we want to shade above or below?
Above.
Above. So this is above. And again, always imagine you're that little ant going left to right. If I'm going left to right, you're always going left to right. Above is on top of you there. So we want to shade this side. Okay? And that is all we need there. Give it a try. Okay, just have a couple more. So, number 4. 2x minus y is greater than or equal to 5. Let's try it. We have 2x, take away y, greater than or equal to 5. All right, let's get rid of the 2x. It moves over. In doing so, it's going to switch signs to -2x. So bring down the -y greater than or equal to -2x plus 5. Okay. Again, we're going to divide by -1 since this is a -1. This is where I noticed some mistakes. You got to make sure to divide, whatever you divide on the left, make sure to divide every term on the right. So everything gets divided by -1. And of course, the switches, because we're dividing by a negative. Y is less than or equal to positive 2x minus 5. Any questions on that? Okay, let's graph it. We're crossing at -5. And then what's my slope, guys? If the number is 2 over 1. And do I want a solid line or a dot? Yeah, I want a solid line. Now, I want to shade below, right? This is less than, so I'm going to call this region 1, region 2. Which region do I shade, 1 or 2? 2. Okay? So again, imagine you're that little ant from the perspective of that little ant going left to right. It's going to be here. That's the side we shade. Okay, last one. So this will be the last one. -3x plus 2y greater than -8. Okay. Let's get that x term over to the other side. So we just have 2y here is greater than positive 3x now. Take away 8. All right. Let's get rid of this 2. We'll divide it everywhere. And so y, we don't have to switch the inequality. 3 over 2 x minus 4. Okay, so let's see, negative 4 up 3 over 2. We want a dotted line, and it's greater than, we want a shade above there. Again, it's a greater than, shade above. If you're still comfortable with the testing out 0, 0 all the time, use that method. If you can work with this better, go with this. Well, let's wait and see if we got it right. Oops. This is in the way, so there we go. Okay, so you have some to do on your own. On what? Here, I'll check it in a minute. I might have just written the wrong assignment on the agenda. I apologize. I'll fix that if that's the case. All right, so this is the assignment. Continue working on these.